Hey, so what's going on, people? So here's the thing, right? A lot of us have a lot of different shoes, right? And we don't like all of them the same. It's like kids. I'm sure that if you have more than one kid, you like one of them more than the others, right? I mean, right? Anyways, so I've got however many models, right? But I wanted to just take a moment to pick out my top six and say what those are, share those with you. And before we go getting too far into this and I forget to call out people or whatever, now again, this little challenge, if you want to call it that, it's if I say your name and you don't feel like doing it, just don't do it. It's fine. There's no hard feelings, right? So let's go with Kicks for Fresh. We'll go with 313 Retro Queen, Keep Pushing Kicks, DB Kicks, What the Sneakers, P-Town 24. That's six, right? Yeah, so cool. You guys, let's see what your six are. Anyways, so here's the thing. Like I said, I have a lot of them over there. It kind of took a little while to figure out which ones I want. Some of them it didn't. Some of them I knew right off the top. But then there's like this whole thing, like this one or that one. I don't know. But anyways, without further ado, let's go ahead and get on into this. So naturally, for me, we're going to start off with the Jordan 12, right? Easily my favorite Jordan. No question. Not a single doubt in my mind which one ranks number one. It's this right here. Overall, this is also the shoe that kind of got me interested in shoes many moons ago. So here you are, the Jordan 12. Right, a lot of colorways. Now, I'm not going to say that the colors I show off are necessarily my favorite ones. They're just some of the ones I like, right? Moving on from there, something that I don't see any more of because they changed the name, but the Aniki Runner by Adidas, right? These are actually the only two Aniki runners I have. I have a few 5923s, but still. This right here, I mean, it's nothing like amazingly special about the shoe, but I just really like the simplicity of it and the comfort of it. It's, in a way, it's almost like an Air Max 1 or something like that. There's not a lot going on, but it works. And then when they stopped making them, and well, they didn't stop, but they kind of switched up how they made them, I wasn't a huge fan of that. So like these original Aniki runners, definitely a favorite model for me. And then let's see, go set those to the side. Another thing that has kind of fallen by the wayside, the Adidas Ultra Boost Uncaged. Now, I know not everybody was a huge fan of these. I believe DB Kicks was a fan. I know because we've talked about it a few times. I think he has this pair. But this was actually one of my, not these, but the blue pair was actually one of my first Boost shoes, my second Boost shoe actually. But these, as far as comfort goes, I feel like they were better than the alternatives, like the caged versions. The look, that's kind of just up to you or whatever, but overall, these were a favorite of mine. I really liked them. I wish they would still make them, but for whatever reason, Adidas has kind of just stepped away from that, which is a little unfortunate, but I get it. Kind of. If anybody out there happens to work for Adidas, go ahead and start making those again. I'd appreciate it. At least make one, and I'll buy it. Next up. So, this was another one of those times where I had a few to think of, like, because I like the Vapor Max, right? I do. But when I look at certain models, it's like, I like the Vapor Max Flyknit 3s, I have a couple of them. But when I see a pair, it doesn't like jump out and, oh man, let me go check this out. But the Vapor Max Plus, I had to actually stop myself from buying these things because I was about to rack up so many of them. I want to say I started with this pair, and then this was my second one, I think. But either way, these are, for one, I like the Air Max Plus. Two, I like the Vapor Max, right? So when you combine the two, it just works out. Not the greatest for running because of some issues with that, but as far as just a nice shoe to wear and a nice look, to me, you can't go wrong with these. Now, I know some people have their feelings about the Vapor Max look and all that stuff, and it is what it is, but this isn't your list. This is mine, right? So there's that for you. These right here, the Air Vapor Max Plus, man, like, big favorite. Also, these aren't in any particular order. It's not like I like these more than I like these. It's just the way I sat them down on these tables here. So, moving right along, so we can get this whole thing wrapped up. We're about a little over halfway done. The Ultra Boost 19, the Ultra Boost, right? So I like a lot of the Ultra Boost models. I don't have anything bad to say about them, but When it comes to running though, I prefer these. They just have some improvements over the 1 through 4 series that are very noticeable, and they don't have that prime blue thing. I'm all for saving the planet, but it kind of gets in the way of the comfort thing when you look at the 20s versus the 19s. So that's why I lean towards the 19s. Now, these particular colorways, personal favorites, sure, but I know they're not the most sought after. The Ice Mint and Gray 3 or something like that. I forget what this one was. But they both happen to do pretty decent as far as views go. Regardless, though, as far as models, they work for running, like I just said. They work for casual wear. They're good for whatever you want. I know, again, it's one of those things some people complain about, the whole bottoming out thing and all this stuff. I haven't had that problem, so I've got no problem recommending these to pretty much anybody. I think I've bought a few pair for family members as well. So there's that for you. Don't forget, Father's Day is coming up. Go ahead and get your dad a pair of shoes or something if you think he needs new shoes. Or if you don't think he needs new shoes, it's still an option. So, finishing things off with number 6. These almost didn't happen, right? Almost, because I was very much on the fence with picking these or the Air Max 1, right? But what it came down to was just the fact that when I see shoes, when I'm scrolling through things, what's new or whatever, if I see an Air Max 1, oh cool, I like those are whatever. But when I see a good looking Foamposite, it kind of grabs my attention a little bit more because that doesn't happen so often, so maybe it makes you appreciate it more. I don't even know how to explain that. Well, no, that's how you explain that, just like I did. But yeah, so these right here, the Foamposites, I still buy them. Just bought a pair a couple days ago. Just did a collection video on these a couple days ago too. But anyways, so right here, you got the eggplants and you got the peanut butter and jellies. Both of these I like a whole lot. I only have so many foams, so it's something I would say about mostly every pair. But when I think about my collection, these two often come to mind first, right? So I know they don't really get a whole lot of attention anymore. People like to say that foams are dead and all that good stuff. Obviously, I'm going to disagree because I'm still buying them, and I know a lot of people are still buying them. And I truly feel like if they were to make better colorways, a lot more of those would be sold for closer to the normal price. Because at this point, it seems like people see them and they're like, okay, it's $150, that's almost $100 off. You know, why not? People are just kind of settling for it because it's cheap and there. I do it all the time with other stuff. You probably do it all the time too. But these right here, I'm telling you, if Nike was to make some better color options, I feel like people wouldn't complain so much about these. And the materials that they use is also a factor because some of them have been a little bit weird lately. But hey, it is what it is. So there we go. There's my 6. Now, for those of you still with me, this is the part you're going to want to listen to, right? So you might be semi-curious possibly as to why I picked 6, right? If you're like me, you just kind of say, yeah, whatever, and you just go with it. You don't think things through too much. But here's the reason, right? So this here thing, this little challenge, if you will, I want a lot of people to do this, or at least a decent amount, because in the end, those that do this, I want you to let me know that you did it, you know, whether you have the YouTube channel or you make a quick video on Instagram or whatever, let me know. And then I'll take the people that did this, and I'm gonna, if it's more than one, I will randomize or if it's, I guess if it's more than 2. If it's more than 2, I'll randomize the list of however many people's made videos. And then next weekend, which I think is like the 27th, 28th weekend, I'll pick a name, and whoever's name that is, I will send you via the Container Store one of those 6 packs of the drop front thing, so you can put your 6 favorite shoes in it. See how that works? Yeah, it's crazy, right? But anyways, so, and if you happen to be watching this and you're one of those UK guys, because I know that happens, I don't want to exclude you, so feel free to do it, and I'll just have to find some other way to reward you if your name happens to get picked. But yeah, so go ahead, knock that out, because the way I see it, next week, right? Yeah, next week, I should be getting one of those big YouTube checks, because I don't make a lot of money doing this, so it takes me like a little bit of time to be able to get paid out through them, because there's a minimum, right? That's how that works. So I've hit the minimum, so that means that for April/May, because if I'm getting paid in June, that means they were paying me for previous time. That's how it is. So anyways, I've got enough money, so I'm going to get one of those little checks into my banking account the other day. Bank account? Whatever. And I'll keep some of that for me, and I'll give some of that back to you. Because after all, it's because of people like you watching this stuff that I have any amount of money coming in whatsoever. So it seems like a nice thing to do, right? So that's why I'm doing it, because I like to think that I'm a pretty nice guy. If you disagree, that's fine. That's what the comment section is for. Or that dislike button. People like to click that too. They don't normally say why though, which is weird to me. But anyways, so that's going to be it for me. Have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I got to do a live thing here in about an hour with Jeezy. I'm going to talk about some action figures. Come on by. It's going to be a good time. Even if you don't want to chime in, just listen and talk, listen to us talk. All right, that's it. Later, people.